This week in the Restroom, we kick off Scary Turds month as we bust a rhyme over a horror franchise turd from 2002. We've got back brace stalking, disposable characters, boring kills, rap star acting, and actress Jamie Lee Curtis giving her best I Don't Want to Be Here performance that makes a fish called Wanda look like Christmas with the Cranks. It's Halloween Resurrection, and before we flush it, we're going to take it out and play with it a little. Restroom Cinema. We're here to flush it so you don't have to see it. Greetings, everyone, and welcome to Scary Turds. October is our month-long celebration of some of the worst horror films ever made. I am Honor Knight, your headless cinematic flusher right here in the Restroom. As always, I'm joined by my freakish co-cinematic flushers, Killer Clown Colleen Griffin.
Hey.
Naughty necrophiliac Nora Crest.
Are you fucking kidding me? Fuck that noise.
And sinister shart Sarah Polton.
That one's really accurate. Hi.
Let me just say this, Honor. I know you're upset about your sex life. You had to, twist mine all up and shit.
Well, and also, Killer Clown
Jesus.
Colleen Griffin, that makes me KKKG.
Oh, well, all right. You see, now
Also, why couldn't you make her a juggalo? At least they protested the president.
Yeah.
I knew I was going to get blowback on that already. Okay, so there we go. Now, if we can get through the rest of the show, please. Jesus Christ. Our special guest this time out is an actress who joined us for the flushing of her own film, Potpourri, way back in episode 28. Since then, she has moved to the other side of the camera, writing, directing, and producing such independent fare as the award-winning Truth or Dare, Mania, and her own YouTube reality series with her partner in crime, Heather Dorff, called Scream Queen Stream. Please welcome back the lovely, talented, and versatile Jessica Cameron.
Thank you so very much for having me. I'm really excited to be flushing something that I had nothing to do with.
I bet you are. Let's kick off this flush with a round of pumpkin dump.
Happy Halloween, bitch.
I'll put 60 seconds on the Restroom clock and we'll go around the cinematic death bowl to see who has the worst alternate title for this week's Scary Turd. The loser will then get to read the RSS as Restroom stall stats in a diabolical voice of my choosing. Here we go. Griff!
When people stop being polite and start getting killed. A real dead world.
Nora!
Halloween Resurrection. Nobody's a virgin.
Oh, not bad. Polton!
Oscar Michael Meyer Halloweener.
Jesus, no. Jessica!
Halloween Resurrection, desperate attempt to keep the franchise alive.
All right, that's pretty good. And I had Halloween. We busted out another crappy sequel. Griffin!
Halloween Resurrections.
No. Crest!
Oh, Halloween Resurrection. Busta Rhymes is a ninja, yo.
Polton!
America's Next Top Murdered.
Better. Jessica?
Halloween, we tried.
And I had Halloween, taking money from horror sap since 1982. Griffin!
Sex, homicide, and videotape.
Oh, not bad. Crest!
Halloween Resurrection, To Catch a Predator.
Fulton!
Ayo, hell.
No, Jesus Christ. And Jessica?
Halloween, you thought Lori was dead.
And that is time. Oh, man. All right. It's kind of a half-baked opening to our Scary Turds episode, but we've had worse. However, in this case, the worst would be Sarah Polton. You kind of crapped it out
Seeing
twice
a
there.
trend here.
I know. I didn't think you were going to end up
I thought it was going to be me.
All right, so Sarah Polton is our big Thunder Dump loser. This time she gets to read the RSS Restroom stall stats in a voice of a cheap vampire accent. Have at it.
I want to read the stats. Halloween Resurrection is a 2002 American horror film and the 8th installment, 8, of Halloween series, if you can count to 8. It was directed by Rick Rosenthal, who also directed Halloween 2, 1, 2, and it builds upon a community of Halloween H2O 20 years later. Oh boy, this is long. Larry and Sean Hood devised a screenplay, which continues the masked serial killer of Michael Myers, continuing his murderous rampage. in his hometown. Myers' childhood home is being used for an internet horror show. It stars Busta Rhymes, a lot of other people, including my favorite, Tyra Banks. Halloween Resurrection was released in July 12th, 2012, but it looks like it was made in 1991. The film received highly unfavorable reviews from several critics, and it gained a score of 12%. 12. Count to 12 with me. On Rotten Tomatoes. The site's consensus being the only thing this tired slasher flick may resurrect is nostalgia for when the genre was so fresh and scary. I want to suck your blood.
There you go. There's your very scary Restroom stall stats for this Scary Turds episode. Great job, Miss Fulton, channeling the Count.
I will.
I was doing
really
Count
impressed.
Chocula.
Yeah, that's a good one, too. Boy, if you thought those Hellraiser, Friday the 13th, and Chucky franchise sequels had jumped to Sharknado, have we got a film for you? Jesus Christ, I haven't seen an R-rated film this tame since The King's Speech.
Oh, man.
Yeah, what's it? You know your film sucks when they use a Palm Pilot as a plot device. And also it's really dated, too, by the way. It's really...
I was going to say, what the fuck's the
2002,
Palm
that
Pilot?
was-
Yeah. Jessica was too young to know what a Palm Pilot was.
I had a Nokia back in 2002, and it was more high tech than whatever the fuck that was.
Nobody uses a Palm Pilot. Nobody even at the time used a Palm Pilot.
I don't think the people who made this movie were aware of how the internet worked either.
Dimension Films, distributors of such quality projects as Tale of the Mummy, Beowulf, Reindeer Games, Phantoms, I Got the Hookup, Airbud, Highlander, Endgame, Spy Kids 3, Mindhunters, DOA, Hellraiser, Deader, The Brothers Grimm, Pulse, Black Christmas, Piranha 3D, Piranha 3 Double D, Buried Alive, Apollo 18, Clown, and Aftershock.
Remember when Dimension used to mean you were going to see a pretty decent
Exactly, and that's why I mentioned all. And chances are Jessica was in about half those that I just mentioned.
Right? No comment.
A Rick Rosenthal film. Nothing screams of sequel desperation more than getting the director of the second Halloween film to come back and direct this turd. Boy, he must have had a free schedule, huh?
Also must have been really desperate because surely nobody read the script and was like, "This is a good idea."
A franchise movie like this. Did they waste all of it on Jamie Lee Curtis and they had to do the credits with PowerPoint? I mean,
the next credit, of course, Busta Rhymes. Seeing Busta's name in the opening title credits is like seeing Brock Turner advertise finger puppets. It's kind of weird and not really appropriate. Oh, geez. What,
yeah, but
really?
in 2002,
Credits?
Busta Rhymes was like super relevant.
I don't
Like,
know.
he was-
Wow, really? For about,
Yeah.
Put My Hands Where Your Eyes Can See. He had the song with Janet
Oh,
Jackson.
man, I
Thank
don't-
you. Busta was like all over everything.
Well,
Busta was like, it was like the equivalent of like Ludacris and being in the Fast and Furious movies.
Unfortunately, Busta is
Exactly.
all over this film and not in a good way.
He's the only one I kind of want to see live.
No, I actually was hoping he would die in the first
I was
reel. and
I
be
was
done
rooting for
with it.
Tyra.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, but
yeah.
they had
Oh,
three
no,
black
we'll
people
talk
in the
about
movie,
that.
and they
I've got
couldn't kill
Oh,
issues.
all three black people.
All
That's
right.
just too much.
Daisy McCracken, because you'll have a cracking good time laughing at this terrible film. Hey-oh! All right, that was just one. I don't know. It was just a random actress that I had to throw in there. I thought it was a funny last name. With Tyra Banks, which translates to, we ran out of credible talent who would agree to appear in this turd.
Wasn't this around the time
Why
did
is
that
she
movie
in this
with Lindsay
movie?
Lohan called Life Size?
Oh, did she really do another film? She's terrible in this. She's just...
Oh, no, okay, she was decent in one movie called Higher Learning, and that
Right.
was about it.
Jessica, this must aggravate the shit out of you to see this stuff gets made.
Yeah, but I get it. Here's the thing. What fans need to realize a little bit more, and I think we're finally getting there with all these open conversations, thanks to the wonderful world of the internet, is that when you spend money on it, you're encouraging people.
Mhm.
So if it's not good, don't spend your money on it.
Well,
If it looks
nobody
like
spent
trash,
their money,
even if
right?
you love Halloween-
Exactly.
No, but they did. I guarantee you. They had to have spent their money or else they would not have gone on to hire Rob Zombie.
You know of the tunnel, the one we all go through. Holding a steady cam while crappy narration plays over the soundtrack? You bet! Right at the top there. Miss Polton loves that opening. When you're opening your film with
boy.
narration, you're in trouble. I think that's Jamie Lee Curtis, who sounds like she was on lithium when she did that. Talk about somebody who didn't want to be there, which we're going to get to her right now. This is that door, behind which we'll find the talented Jamie Lee Curtis with a vacant expression on her face that was captured the moment she finished reading the script.
Basically.
boy.
No, are you kidding? No, are you kidding me? If I was her and I had read the script, I would be like trying not to smile because I knew that I would only be in it for about 5 minutes.
Well, I guess that's one way to look at it.
But she only agreed to do this because she didn't want to be in any more fucking sequels.
But now she's doing one.
Yeah, it's taken 15 years for her to agree to come back. But I'm just saying, she literally wanted to be killed off so that she wouldn't ever have to deal with this bullshit
But
again.
now she is.
I would say, like, I'm only doing this if, like, Jordan Peele's directing.
I love how they're bringing these old school people back, and I think it's interesting. So maybe the Curtis film will be good, the next one they do, because Carpenter is on board to produce it.
Good horror movies are back in again.
They are. But also, like, at the same turn of the dime here, Linda Hamilton just came back to do another Terminator film, which they're both the same type of setup. This Halloween film, the new one, takes place after the second movie, just like the new Terminator film takes place after the second Terminator. So it's very interesting. They're just going to ignore all the other mythology down the line.
It's because somebody told them they fucking had to, or they don't have a franchise.
Yeah.
Like, someone was like, guys, none of this stuff has worked.
Right.
You have been riding the coattails of the only two movies that were... I like H2O as well. But they're like, no, if you want an actual franchise, we have to go back and do what we should have done then. The movie did gross. Domestic total gross was $30,354,000.
I can't believe it did that well, though. I'm really surprised. People are real idiots. I mean,
no, especially like when I taught middle school kids, I can't believe they were like, Miss Griffin, I'm gonna go see My Bloody Valentine. I'm gonna go see this and that, and I was like, oh.
Yeah, I don't understand how this film ended up making money, but it did, unfortunately, and so that's how we ended up.
Kids, especially adolescent kids, will go see any horror movie in the theater.
Michael Myers a serial killer, as opposed to Michael Myers a shoe salesman. Who the hell hasn't heard of Myers by this point? So the opening scene is there's two nurses are walking down this long hallway that we've just been talking about. And the one has to educate the other person and the audience on Michael Myers, as if we don't know this character by this point. This
is for the person who's just seeing Halloween Resurrection and they've seen none of the other seven. Yeah. It's like people who saw Fast and Furious 7 and they didn't know what the fuck was happening.
Well, but this was before Wikipedia, where you could all right, figure it out.
True. Well, you can look it up on your Palm Pilot. There were several murders, of which we will unnecessarily recap by showing scenes from the last crappy Halloween sequel around the 4-minute mark, the one Jessica liked. This is commonly known as padding your film to hit a 90-minute runtime. I love this film is barely 90 minutes, with credits, mind you.
Thank goodness. I'm
It
very
felt,
okay with that.
No, it felt so much longer.
It feels
felt
longer because
forever.
there's pacing issues, but when you don't have enough footage to make up the whole 90-minute runtime, you just throw in stuff from past film, the last film. Which is terrible. It's a terrible practice, and it's very obvious. And they slow down a lot of scenes, too, to extend the running time. And the film goes on long past the ending. We'll talk about that. It's not a tight 90 minutes at all. Why does Michael Myers always walk around like he hasn't taken a shit in 2 weeks? He's like wearing a back brace for the whole film. That guy, he's slim.
I'm sorry. If you were busy killing people, you would not be going to the bathroom regularly either. I think irritable bowel syndrome starts.
Well, Jessica, you actually know Brad Lorry. Was that this stage direction? Just walk as slow as humanly possible through all of your...
Well, here's the thing. I think this is, for me anyways, Brad, too, is a trained stunt actor.
Right.
And I think sometimes when you see trained stunt actors, like, again, they're not really focused on crafting character traits so much as, you know what I mean, like getting from A to B. And I think sometimes that's not necessarily the best thing. It can come across as like sort of not human, and I think that's kind of what's going on here.
I think he looks like he had a hernia operation. He just can't move around right.
Yeah, but no, it makes sense. Like maybe he has like an adult diaper and body armor on.
They probably told him he couldn't go to the bathroom until they were done filming. So he's got
asbestos long johns on.
That poor guy. We'll talk more about Mr. Myers. But anyway, Mr. Myers is looking a little bit more slower than usual in this film, in case you are one. Not that he ever was super fast.
Well, P.S. He's old now. He was born in 1954.
Well,
the guy
I know.
in his 50s.
He's
give him a break.
He's timeless.
And I feel like also, like, overall, with the exception of Laurie Strode, I do feel like his victims are the dumbest they've ever been.
Oh,
so
really?
It's not like he needs to rush to kill them.
That's
like,
a good
they're
point.
not going anywhere. Side note, it's also the one that was shot in Canada.
Oh, really? Oh, this is shot in Canada? Okay, all right. Well, that's very interesting. Oh,
so
that's
Brad's
very
Canadian, so maybe it's a Canadian thing.
Why is he in the basement? Myers slow rolls past a vending machine on a security camera on the 8-minute mark like he was suffering from the Alzheimer's and desperately trying to find his way onto the set. That's another great example of just having the stuntman just walk, from point A to point B across the camera frame, and that was it. You keep it. So anyway, Michael Myers is running around this. We're in a sanitarium where Laurie Strode ended up after the H2O. Now, keep in mind, folks, in case you're wondering about the difference, in H2O she had short hair. In this film, she has a terrible wig. Jessica, we've been talking about this for ages, man. The hair and makeup departments in these films are terrible. Is there like a production truck that just rolls up with all this crap with these terrible wigs? Well, how does this work?
Here's the thing. It's just honestly, you can tell it's when they've phoned it in, especially if it's Laurie Strode. Like whoever put that on Jamie Lee Curtis,
it's terrible.
Be never allowed to work in film again because you know you're just not trying.
And I cite on Miss Cameron because her makeup is always impeccable. If you've seen photos of Miss Cameron, any given time, she has her shit put together.
Thank you. We should. Like,
but no, I'm not dick sucking. I'm just that's
you can order a nice looking wig from China or any of these other places where children are going to make it for you for like $100.
Well, I know, but this is
I mean, you don't need to go to the bargain bin at like Party City. Right. By the way.
What's gotten into you? Well, apparently a lot of muscle building since Myers lowers himself onto the floor with one arm like he's Batman.
Oh my God. The 10-minute mark. What was this fucking move on?
Yeah, what is this move?
That's like serial killer CrossFit.
This is like the pumped up Arnold Schwarzenegger version of Michael Myers in this because he's like so fucking strong. I don't even understand.
I'm telling you right now that
I'd like if the mask came off and it was Jack Palance.
I'm telling you right now that was not Brad Lurie was lower down. There's no way he did that pull up.
I don't know if he does it like 5 times in the movie.
And the thing is, if they make that like his signature move, like he's a CrossFit freak. And then kills everybody in his workout class. Like
it doesn't make it. The move doesn't
snorting creatine like the whole movie.
and like he kills people like crushing them with tractor tires.
But the move itself doesn't make any sense because the guy is what 6'5". Jess, how big is he? He's like at least over 6 feet.
He's real tall. Yeah, but, he's like 6'4", 6'5". He's super tall.
So to lower himself, you're not hiding anything. He's just going up like 2 feet and then coming back down.
How did where's the rest of his body?
One of the mental patients escapes, and one of the security guys puts him back in his room. He's a John Wayne Gacy fan. We're not going to mention too much about him.
No, he's not any serial killer.
Yeah. So, but as a result, they look at a video camera, and now it's actually Michael Myers running around, and they think it's the other guy. So these two dumbass security guys, which you've seen in every horror movie, go looking for this guy, and that's when the Myers kills both of them.
I would be the security guard at the vending machine.
You would be getting that.
A3.
Getting that snack cake. Yeah, exactly. Myers bustas through a room door around the 11-minute mark like he was a homicidal Kool-Aid man. Oh, yeah. See that when he busts right in Laurie Strode's room?
But I need to point out something
when could he do that, though?
Okay, he murks the first security guard by cutting off his head and putting it in the dryer. And the other security guard wanders in and is like, what's that noise?
I know.
What's in the dryer? That dryer would be smeared with blood.
Right, it's so telegraphed and unnecessary. It would also be
really loud and gross sounding.
I don't know if he has enough time to cut off heads, but all right.
That's what I was thinking. Like, this is the sharpest knife in the history of it's like a fucking Ginsu knife.
Yeah, they're acting like it's Valyrian steel.
I know you'd come for me sooner or later. I was actually hoping for sooner so we didn't have to endure this shameless cash grab, but no.
Also, how come he never gets any blood on him ever?
Well, it's a bloodless film, and we'll talk about that. Now, unlike Miss Cameron's work, which has a shit ton of blood, I had to actually go to the hospital after watching Truth or Dare because, man.
You're welcome.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you damn near killed me on that one. But so if you want blood, folks, maybe you ought to click over to her shit. Otherwise, you're not going to find it in this film at all. I just have to be sure that I'll never appear in another Halloween sequel by killing off my character only 15 minutes into running time. Sadly, that didn't even work. Cue that Debbie Downer sad trombone. Thank you. I was really hoping this turd would be over so I can get that high colonic I had a Groupon for. But sadly, no.
That would be more enjoyable.
Yeah, but the movie's gonna keep going. So really, they kill off her character.
She does the classic fall with no conclusion.
It's terrible. And then she says, "I'll see you in hell, but not before I kiss you on your William Shatner masked mouth," just to add a hint of incest to this death scene.
That was like some Hannibal Lecter wannabe.
That's
shit.
Gross, dude. I didn't understand how that worked. That didn't make any sense. So she falls to her. Anyway, there's a big rooftop fight, and she's a dumb way she traps him and turns him upside down like he's a deer. And there's a whole sequence with that, and then they get trapped on the roof, and he stabs her in the back, and she kisses him on the mouth, which is super creepy.
Why the fuck didn't she just stab the shit out of him? This is another, like, I'm sorry, but...
Because she was traumatized, because she killed the wrong person.
Well, but it's like, doesn't anybody know, like, if you're in a weird situation, you gotta know at some point, maybe you're in a scary movie. Don't monologue. Don't go in a basement.
I know. They telegraph everything.
Know these things.
Know.
This is like,
come
on.
I'm not scared of you. Are you scared of me?
I know. Everything's telegraphed.
Who fucking cares if he's scared of you? You got the knife. Fucking stab his shit.
Yeah. Sarah, this is what not to write in your screenplay.
He's so good at stabbing when he's in a stress position.
So anyway,
I have to really rewrite my script now.
Yeah, you actually do. So
I'm kidding. It's great.
She falls to her death, and that was it for her. And my biggest question here is: do you think Curtis was paid in a shitload of Activia?
Maybe they figured Michael's like motivation was constipation, so he's they're like, "Hey, Jamie Lee, we've got the yogurt."
He is big time constipated. Yeah, if you just gave the guy Activia, we wouldn't have this problem from him, right? I think he just needed Activia. I think he just needed to take a shit. And I think Michael Myers would have been fine. Halloween Resurrection. Just in case you've completely forgotten which crappy Halloween sequel you're watching, we're not going to plaster up the title to start only 17 minutes into the running time. Well done, folks. Sarah, wait up. I just got a principal role in Battlestar Galactica remake. I'm going to be nerd famous.
Oh, thank God.
Katee Sackhoff, or Katie Get Off My Sack as she was formerly known. Heyo.
Stop it.
All right, that was
No.
cheap. Now, how do you mean no? You guys just veto my cheap
Because it
joke.
wasn't her haircut punishment
Well,
enough.
yes,
Yeah,
yes. She looked.
I love that. Like, because again, like going back to the hair and makeup wardrobe that clearly
Yes.
didn't give a fuck. This is another one of those. Like,
Next line is, hi, Rudy. We picked the name Rudy from the ski mask full of stock black character names. Hope you like it.
Right?
Yeah, Sean Patrick Thomas showing up here. They're three friends. Katee Sackhoff, Sean Patrick Thomas, some other bitch. I don't even know who that chick is. Her name is Bianca, and I can't pronounce her last name. She's the lead of the film, aside from Brad Lorre
she
running.
probably
She's
wanted to
done
run.
a lot of other like
Has she?
decent shit.
I have not.
Really?
I've never seen her in anything but this film.
Yeah.
God love this actress because she was good, but
She's
I
the
don't
only
thi-
girl in the movie that isn't smiling like her pearly white smile.
I don't think she was good.
she wasn't as dumb as the rest of them. That was her character arc.
Yeah, that's
I think she's
basically it.
probably most famously known for 10 Things I Hate About You.
she was the coffee girl in 10 Things I Hate About You.
Oh, okay.
That's it? Okay, all right. Well, there you go, folks. So if you're a big Bianca...
And she was on Dawson's Creek. Let's not forget that.
All right. All right. So basically, yeah. Folks, you're not going to remember.
We've seen her a lot.
Yeah.
We've seen her a lot.
But not so you notice. You sure they're not putting us in some house with hidden cameras in a shower? Just like the Michael Jackson estate? Not at all.
Oh,
Yeah,
boy.
okay, wow, yeah. All right, so basically, the three characters, Sean Patrick Thomas, the Bianca chick that we just talked about, and poor Katee Sackhoff, they are chosen as contestants, or they're going to be, in a reality series that's going to be done by Busta Rhymes at the... they're going to have to spend a night in a haunted house. In this case, it's Michael Myers, not Michael Jackson. Although that would have been a better film.
No.
Thousands of people are going to see my face, which includes a mouth so large Sackhoff looks like a live-action Wallace and Gromit character. Around the 20-minute mark. Her mouth is huge. You guys ever notice that? It's just big. I don't know why it's like in that shot.
Because they put her in that hideous lip color.
I guess maybe it's just the makeup.
Did you know most of the characters were actually age appropriate when they were cast?
Oh, well, that's a rare thing to do.
Yeah.
I just need to send a quick email. Well, geez, emailing was so 2002. Nobody does that. Everybody's on their computer. I guess they're kind of working in the technology of the time, so we didn't have texting, obviously, or Facebook or any of that bullshit, so you got to keep writing emails.
We did texting around then.
Well, I know, but it was all emailing.
Starting.
Yeah, it was starting.
Yeah.
So they had to focus on email. So we just email back and forth on these big-ass monitors, which are fantastic. Okay, listen up. I'm trying to chunk out all my dialogue without rapping. 22-minute mark. Do you think they paid, the producer just paid Busta and weed?
I mean, they were in
no.
Vancouver. It's possible.
But he's not like a Snoop. That wasn't his deal.
Oh, that wasn't?
kinda
Oh.
like, no.
So what do you hope to find in the house tomorrow night? Hopefully America's Top Model.
My
Tyra Banks is stuck next to Busta for this scene because he's producing this reality show. She's the one kind of she's the actual producer of the show, I'm guessing.
Having just been an associate producer on a reality TV series, I will say none of this. There's 3 people in this entire crew, which is a total fucking bullshit.
Oh, yeah.
That 3 people would set up an entire
No.
television show to film. That's
No,
like
that's
the dumbest
complete
thing I've ever seen.
bullshit. Unless
Also,
you're...
I am highly offended that her name is Nora, and I want to just say
Oh,
that for
all
the
right,
record.
all right, we can do that.
And I've got Sarah in here too.
True.
Yeah.
You don't have to go far to find Michael Myers or moosed out 80s hair, 23-minute mark.
Luke Kirby.
Is that who it is? I don't even know who these fucking kids
Yeah,
are.
I thought it was just like naturally curly. He was trying to be like
Nah.
artist. I'm the art. Look at me. I'm
He's the
really
artist.
into it. I'm the artist.
Yeah. These people are in the selection process here for the reality show. This girl can scream to glass-shattering levels, apparently. I thought that shit only happened during operas, not crappy horror franchise sequels. So apparently the Bianca girl can actually scream so loud it shatters glass, which is total bullshit. I don't know where they came up with this, because I don't know why this becomes a trope later on, or like a plot point later on, but it does.
Because they're desperate.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah.
You think that is? It's just sloppy writing? It just doesn't lend itself.
Yeah, I definitely think it's sloppy everything.
Yeah. Big sloppy horror mess. So the girl, that's her hook. So that's why she gets selected for the thing, our lead character. And of course, Sean Patrick Thomas will be joining the club, as well as, what did she play? Was she Starbuck? I think in that.
Yeah, she played Starbuck. Which, by the way, is brilliant.
And also we've got Thomas Ian Nicholas.
Yes, he's one of the team, and he was in a bunch of shit. He's terrible.
He was in Rookie of the Year and America's Pie.
Okay.
But he's like the saddest person to see in this movie.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
I was like,
so
I was
sad.
surprised. Yeah.
Slow down. What's the problem? If she was talking any slower, she'd be riding a short bus. All right. Fear, so basically, she wants to bail out of the show, and Busta Rhymes just tells her to buck up and do it. Fear makes me want to throw up. So does Rhymes, kicking out all of his dialogue like he's actively trying to remember it. Was Eminem not available for this role?
No, you know
Eminem
what?
probably read the script.
I think Busta Rhymes read the script and became obsessed with it. He strikes me as somebody who is obsessed with delivering his lines the right way.
Oh, and I think his character's whole obsession with the kung fu movies. I think he sat and watched every kung fu movie he get his hands on for this shit.
Know. Busta Rhymes is a tone loc of acting. with apologies to Mr. LOC. All right, let's work on that joke yourself. Get your tail out of here.
If the joke gets there, let us know.
Oh, bum. Hey-oh. Nora Crest with her 1 week burn. She'll be back in 3 to 4 weeks to insult me more. So hang in there, kids. Get your tail out of here and get to bed, as opposed to having her tail in his bed. This turd was written by white people. So basically, instead of trying to get her in the hotel room, he kicks her out, which is a rare thing to see in films.
He was in the middle of watching his kung fu movie. He didn't
I know. Yeah, we should mention he's in a kung fu movie, which will play into the end of the film in a horrible, horrible way.
Oh boy.
But talk about insulting. Like, if I was Michael Myers, I'd be embarrassed to be in this film. I don't like. Don't you think it's a bit too revealing? Revealing. If this character were any more covered up, she'd be walking the streets of an Islamic country. See. When I've been drinking, I can't get that joke out correctly. 26-minute mark. So anyway, they have that.
I think that was like somebody trying to tell you shouldn't get that joke out.
Katee Sackhoff has to try to sex up the Bianca character, the glass shatterer, and she puts her in that horrible top.
As opposed to what? Like there was nothing.
I know.
Redeemable about any of
the early 2000s are literally the worst decade in the history of the universe for fashion.
Yeah. All right, we'll go with that.
And hair and makeup.
Jessica, when you watch these films, because you are a producer and director of some stuff, do you find yourself personally like redirecting scenes in your head, like how you could have improved on this material, or
no,
are you just like
in general I don't, but I mean especially not when it's like this bad, because you're just like no.
Okay, all right. So you wouldn't even take it. So if they offered you to direct this film, you would have just turned it down.
No. Hell no. There would have been so much money involved. No. The other thing about like movies is it's never one thing, right? I don't think anybody who knows anything about film can like look at a film and be like, I would have done this and this and this, because you know that you can't say that unless you were there.
Well, but you can't look at it from a director's point. There's stuff that you would have done that this director didn't.
No, well, not really though. When you think about it, because everything you do is going to have 100 ricochet things that happen, and you have to weigh the pros and cons. So, for example, I could be like, no, I would have wanted to do a close-up on that girl there, pull out so you get to see a wide, but then in doing so, that would have put hair and makeup like an hour behind schedule, because they would have had to done that, which means I would have had to cut another scene. So would I have done that or not? You know what I mean? So you did this bigger picture issue of really, in my opinion, you can't evaluate that, because it's never a simple fix in film. It's not, I would have done this, and that's how it would have been.
Yeah, but I don't. All right, I don't necessarily agree with that. I understand there's a ricochet effect. You have to take all these other considerations when you're on set doing the thing. But I think you would have had your own ideas in terms of how to just improve the material, or just improve blocking of a scene just in your own head. I'm not saying just...
Well, but again, like, for all we know, like, I guarantee you somebody at Busta Rhymes' level, Tara Banks' level, they would have had contractual agreements to how they could have been shown what they would have been seen doing. Same with Jamie Lee Curtis. Not to mention they would have only had them for X amount of days. I suspect some of the blocking is the way it is because they had to use body doubles and such, like, or stand-ins, you know what I mean? Like when you don't see their faces. So again, there's like all these things and all these numbers that as a fan, even when the movie's bad, we just don't know.
Look, Charlie, we're on a schedule here, but we still have time to watch Tyra Banks dance to some hip-hop tune around the 29-minute mark. This is what happens when you need
that was not hip-hop. It was corny-ass, like, late
know,
90s R&B.
Yeah, well, when you need to pad your running time, you hire a model to act. There you go, Miss Polton. There's your coffee making scene. Which why would you have this machine on set?
Coffee machines would be on set.
Not a cappuccino.
You wouldn't make something messy around equipment, right?
Yeah,
You know?
I had anxiety over that.
And she's like spilling shit and dancing and like singing.
No,
yeah,
she's have a coffee machine, but she wouldn't be fucking making it over the
equipment.
$85,000 of equipment.
Yeah, exactly. And as soon as that music goes on, she's like in a trance where nothing else matters but that coffee.
It's like it was like an acting one scene, where like the director yells at the actor, like, "Okay, look happy about the coffee." Tyra
Banks clearly has never made her own coffee. Right? Like, clearly the first time that bitch has ever like made her own coffee because she fucked that up.
I'm sorry, you're gonna like do all that and then just go with the cheap ass whipped cream.
I know. To back up, they're setting up for the reality show at Michael Myers' house. Now, of course, the house they're using is a movie house, is a movie horror house. It's not an actual practical house because no houses like this exist, only in the movies. And it looks like complete shit in a really nice neighborhood. That would never even happen. But so she's in the garage next to the house setting up the equipment. That's where the Frappuccino machine is, right next to the thousands of dollars of equipment. And she's making her stupid ass coffee while a guy, Charlie, the one production guy who's setting up the cameras inside the house, gets killed by Michael Myers, and she doesn't even bother to look at the monitor to see him get killed because she's so busy dancing and making coffee. That's basically what I do, like before the show. Dance and make coffee. I'm not paying attention. Shit's going down, and then I
and then she turns back around after he's like on the ground dead, and his camera's just like looking. Oh, Charlie, look at that angle. You got that. I know.
Good. It's just
and then when
terrible.
she doesn't hear from him, she just is.
What'd you say, Jeff?
Take a moment to talk about that death too. It's like the janky-ass, cheapest tripod, but somehow manages to impale someone.
I've used tripods. They don't have that sharp of a tip on the end of them, but okay. But
they also just aren't that strong.
Let the dangertainment begin, because there's nothing more terrifying than using an air horn in a horror film. 33-minute mark. So basically, the kids get suited up in their stupid-ass, cheap-ass cameras, and he sends them out to do a whole. Like, apparently, the news shows up for this stuff, which is total bullshit, and he sends these kids loose inside the house. Their whole job is just to go in the house and spend the night and look for clues to find out what happened to Michael Myers. I guess that's basically the setup. Donna, you got great legs. What time did they open? And then I wrote, God, I miss the early 2000s.
Honor, did you write this script?
You think? Yeah, some of these gems might.
Collaboration with you and Brock Turner, right?
Ow, but I'm bummed. Ew. I'm not saying I had a hand in the script, but just a lot of sexist dialogue, guys, and then some sexual assault coming up here shortly. You think anyone will guess we're supposed to be from Pulp Fiction? Well, since you culturally appropriated Samuel L. Jackson, I'm guessing no. 37-minute mark.
He had a pick. Yeah. In the wig. What in the actual fuck?
So he's just saying there's two white guys, and the one guy is helping out via email. The Bianca character, the glass shatterer that we mentioned a little earlier. He hasn't met her. He's just helping her out. But he's a freshman in college, and they're seniors or whatever.
Oh, I thought he was in high school.
Oh, high school. I'm sorry. Maybe, all right, maybe high school.
He's a freshman in high school.
Okay, so as a result, his buddy is well, I think he's gay, but his buddy with the earrings and the hair. The blonde.
He's not gay. His buddy is not gay.
You didn't think he was gay? All right. So
he came in with the girl that he was trying to bang.
Yeah, but that's when they have that just to show. Like, really, you want a dude. What's that No Homo song from Lonely Island?
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, maybe later on.
Yeah, I think later on.
But I don't think it's that deep, my dude.
No, okay. we don't get that deep into the character.
So anyway, 2002. This guy's earrings and
all right. That's 2002.
No, but the thing is, it's like, you were almost there, going as a black character without being super offensive until you put the pick in.
I literally just wrote down, "Oh, good, a white kid dressed as."
Yeah, I know. That's what I said.
Like, come on.
It would have been fine if he just worn the hair and whatever, but he put the pick in. I was like, I hope that pick.
And he was doing the jive boogie walk.
Oh no, he was. I know.
No, and I hope that I was like, I want Michael Myers to stab that pick into his fucking skull.
Yeah, there are two high school students to go to a college party they're invited to, and he forces the other kid to go, and they go as a.
No, it was a high school party.
Hands off, bud. Why does this kid keep sexually assaulting Sackhoff's character? Did he attend the Brock Turner School of Acting? Heyo. All All right. That could have been read a little
Well,
bit
that
more
was just,
enthusiastically.
I think
but
this was like literally
he does
that's
keep
how he got
touching
paid.
her.
He got to touch Katee Sackhoff several times.
Several times. This is Thomas Ian Nicholas's character. He has a hard-on for Katee Sackhoff's character.
It's so gross.
But he keeps touching her, and that's not really appropriate. Even in 2002, it's kind of, I don't know. I don't know if you can do it the way he's doing it. He grabs her ass later on. We'll talk about that.
This is like maybe acceptable in like the 80s TNA horror flicks.
But they
Besides-
didn't even
That's
shoot it
not
right. They
smart,
didn't
maybe.
shoot the camera like up her ass angle and like zoom in on that at all.
No,
I mean,
they
didn't
don't.
even take advantage of
It's
that.
just bad camera. Yeah, I know. I think Rick Rosenthal just wasn't even there for most of the shoot. I think the poor guy, he barely cranked out Halloween 2 and just, showed up just in name only. He's just, the direction's just not well-directed film. Besides, screwing a music major would be tantamount to lesbianism. It's probably the most accurate line in this turd.
Oh, that's so cute to make the
I know. Crest would probably-
masculinity
I
and
know.
homophobic jokes.
Hey, look. This is what they wrote. I'm just going off their script, which maybe I ghost written. Never know.
Yeah, probably.
Written
I-
by
I-
Honor Knight.
I know. I was like, oh.
Don't
Honor
tell
Knight.
anybody. Don't tell anybody. I'm going to get her back for that, but not before you're killed by Myers in a scene that's so bloodless you think all these characters were made of air. The 46-minute mark. I forget which character got killed with that.
Thomas Ian Nichols.
Was it?
is
Did he get killed? Did
The
he get-
first,
yeah,
the first
Yeah.
one to get killed.
There's no blood
Yeah.
in this. There's no
Yeah,
blood in this film.
Henry Rowengartner was the first
Oh,
one.
Jessica, that must have drove you nuts because you're used to using a lot of fucking blood on your shit.
Yeah,
Um,
well, and especially it's a Halloween franchise. How are you
Yeah,
gonna
and it's an
blood?
R-rated
That's
film, though,
cute.
Jess. It's also
Yeah,
an
it's-
R-rated film.
Ridiculous. As somebody who loved Thomas Ian Nicholas in American Pie, I wanted to see him die a horrible death.
No, he does not. He
Right?
dies
Yeah.
a really bad, just
I
bloodless
was
death.
so shocked that he
Yeah.
was one of the first ones killed because at that time in his career, he was kind of the higher profile one.
My, how times change.
I know, right?
Hey, is that a Michael Myers thing? Because there's nothing more boring than watching boring characters watching other boring characters on a TV screen. So the two Pulp Fiction kids, or the one of them goes into a room in the party and turns on that. We should mention that everything's being videotaped or streamed live on the internet, which you could, in 2002 you wouldn't be able to watch any of this, but there's different multiple cameras you can switch between to if you go on the website and that kind of shit.
In
This is
2002,
literally
you
impossible.
could do, like,
Barely.
streaming. It was just terrible.
Yeah, it would be terrible. So anyway, that's what he's watching, and all these other kids are starting to come in there and watch the action unfold as we're watching the film. It doesn't make any sense. There are definitely no cameras down here. Well, welcome to the bone room, literally. Okay, so two of the characters manage to find their way into the basement through a key they find on a high chair that gets, and there's a manhole cover in the bottom of the basement of the house, which doesn't make any sense. This all will tie together. They open it up and they go downstairs. They find there's a room that Michael Myers may have been trapped in as a child. And they start fucking. Small boomies alert around the 52-minute mark as soon as the dead redhead chick goes topless so briefly I thought I was watching a bra commercial. Barely any boomies. It's an R-rated film, guys. You get nothing. Barely any booms in this.
I'm sorry you barely saw any nipple.
I expected rampant nudity, or at least more. There was more in the first Halloween film, I think there was in this film.
You've got copious side boobs, so.
Yeah, there's side boobs. Yeah, and I don't know if she's done anything else, but she was actually tolerable.
I'm
Not
gonna light
well,
the
yeah,
candle
wonder
for
why.
you.
not because she was topless.
Honor.
Had nothing to do-
Daisy McCracken.
Cracking good boomies. Hey-o. All right.
Boomies.
Yeah, well, yeah, we got to write the boomies.
And she's almost age appropriate for you, Honor.
Yeah, almost.
Yeah, you know, no, he auditioned to be the third high school friend, but was turned away.
But I'm bummed. You're not Michael Myers. I'm Michael Myers. Busta's a nearly 2-minute long rant through his William Shatner mask around the 54-minute mark. It's easily the high and low point of this turd. It's like he's trying to talk his way out of a felony in every scene. He just goes.
Really?
I know that's.
No.
I actually
no.
like this is my favorite scene in the whole movie where
Really?
he's
Where he
telling
just
off
starts-
Michael Myers. That was
It
great.
doesn't make any sense
Again,
though.
he's the only one I cared about enough
Oh,
to
really?
I kind of want him to live.
He never
This
shuts
scene,
up.
this
The
scene
guy
reminded
never-
me of the SNL episode where Eddie Murphy is telling Stevie Wonder that he's not doing
Oh
Stevie
my
Wonder.
Yeah,
God, yes,
Keep
yes.
saying, look at me, watch what I'm doing.
Okay, all right. So basically, yeah, there's a scene where he turns away Michael Myers. Michael Myers walks away. Which, again, this breaks canon of the character and the franchise, and it doesn't make. It's just a showcase for Busta
This is where
Rhymes.
we get fucked up in the whole movie because he tells Michael Myers essentially who he thinks is the camera guy who's already dead.
Yeah.
He tells him to
He
go
thinks
out
he's
into
the camera guy,
garage
right.
where Nora is and to, get back where he should be behind the scenes. So then Michael Myers leaves the house at that point. So he's going to the garage to see Nora, who, by the way, we never see dead or die on screen.
I
know it's coming up later. I know.
I didn't get me a
Twice.
Tyra. I was like, I want a Tyra Banks death scene. I didn't get it.
You also do not do a reality show with only 3 people on staff. I know, but you don't do a reality show with 3 people on staff either.
But the thing is, they didn't even question where he was.
Yeah, he's been gone for hours. The guy's been dead for hours. But
Yeah.
all right.
That's bullshit.
We're wearing cameras because nothing completes your crappy horror film better than 2 people sharing a bong around the 60-minute mark.
Where did that come from?
Yeah, there's your
Like,
drug humor, guys. There's your drug humor for that. Yeah, so basically, Katee Sackhoff and Sean Patrick Thomas share a bong. Where'd they get the bong from?
How did they sneak that in?
Yeah, so it's a big bong too. It's not like a small one. It's a big ass, like they're water and everything. It's a water bong, right?
Yeah.
I'm a little on my
Sure.
my
I mean, in my
Thank
day,
you, Jessica.
the kids smoked bowls.
America don't like reality, first of all. Second of all, they think this shit is boring. Busta was right on both accounts.
He was kind of like
Yeah,
the
I know.
Nostradamus.
Yeah, he knew.
reality.
So Busta Rhymes basically he had set up this whole thing. So there's the skulls through, skeletons coming through the wall, and all these other props that they had set up to heighten this, the reality of the situation for the characters they didn't know. So basically, it's all kind of bullshit, except for the fact that we have Brad Lorry running around as Michael Myers, actually killing people. Very shortly, the rest of the cast. So basically, he asked the other kids to go along with that. Run! Yet we'll all continue to stand around and watch another character get killed instead of helping him out. Hour and 5-minute mark.
That was
Why
so
didn't
nuts.
they help him? This drives me nuts with the logic of films. Why would you be standing there and not helping him? This guy gets his head crushed in by Myers.
Oh no, that was like straight out. Yeah, he got Oberyn'd. Game of Thrones fans, you know what that is.
All right, that's the internal logic of the film that doesn't make any sense. Jessica, that must drive you nuts too. I
don't like to say the blocking. I could just say that I think that a lot of people half-assed it. I think that a lot of people,
all right, well, yeah,
they
we
should
can go
have
with
been
that.
like, no, that you're
Yes.
not doing your job well. Get people who are at least going to try.
They weren't even trying to act like they were like that, like pressed about it. Like
No,
they were like,
yeah, that was just a cash grab. And it's all treated as a cash grab. It's a shame.
yeah,
It's
but
such
like,
a great
this is
legacy.
supposed to be a career-making move for most of these young actors.
And thank God it wasn't. Mostly, well, except for Sackhoff, who actually went on to have a career. You like sushi, motherfucker? Sean Patrick Thomas tries to black it up Rachel Dolezal style around the hour and 6-minute mark. Keep trying, Sean.
What?
Keep trying on that one. Yeah, there's a couple.
He's a chef. And
There's
he's
a.
obsessed
I
with
know,
diet.
but he's trying to be tough, and it's just not. He can't do tough. He's
But
just.
I think that's part of the point is that like he likes to talk a big game, but he's.
I don't know if it came across like
But he was
that.
the only character that actually fought back. You got to give him that at least.
Yeah, no,
Well, this guy was that, yeah.
yeah, exactly. Tell her go, because there's nothing more exciting than a bunch of drunk college kids screaming directions at a heroine so clueless she makes Ernest Scare's Stupid look like Silence of the Lambs. Again, there's a lot of jokes going on there.
There are levels to that one.
Yeah, there's levels to that one, folks. You can rewind and work that out later on.
That is a pop culture cornucopia.
There's not a great one, but it is one. We got to get the fuck out of here now. Something Busta Rhymes should have done long time ago. Why is he still in this turd? Don't most rappers get shot in the first reel? That's horrible.
I know, but also he knows how to get out of the house. Why?
Yeah,
is he
I know.
just
Why is he
fucking
even
on
there?
out of the house?
Yeah, in honor, not every movie is Monsters Ball, okay?
I don't understand why he's still in the film. He must have had that in his contract that he had to survive the running time. Jessica, is that how it goes sometimes? Like they reel in his talent and they're like, I'll be in your movie, but I got to be in every fucking scene.
Sometimes they do, and I kind of think, like, wasn't he going to become like a movie star at this point?
Was
I mean,
he?
obviously that's not the case now. But if he was trying to be a movie star, he would have had to be like the lead.
I guess. I
don't know. I feel like he at least tried.
Yeah, but he's trying in the wrong direction. He's not really
Oh,
just.
absolutely.
He's in his own movie. He
Yeah,
thinks he's in another film and trying to transpose his performance into this film, which is a horror film from Michael Myers and it's a franchise. And it just doesn't work. There's just such a disconnect between the two performance and the setting. And I think that's the issue. Like I said, I give him an A for effort, but it's like 100% in the wrong direction. So you want to be on Dangertainment? Let's see what you got. Cue Kung Fu Fighting around the hour and 12-minute mark as Busta busts out his inner last dragon on Myers. Jesus, guys. So he starts doing Kung Fu moves on Michael Myers, which you're just talking about, does not work in this kind of film. In a video game, maybe. Maybe not so much here, guys. But all right, so there's a big fight scene, and he's trying to save the glass shatterer.
By the way, can I just say we have an update for Busta Rhymes'
World Tour
and Aspirations. There is a movie he had come out that is called King of the Dance Hall with Nick Cannon, Whoopi Goldberg, and Louis Gossett Jr.
All right, well, Lou Gossett. All right, there you go, folks. So in case you're waiting
There
for
you go.
Busta's dramatic return to acting, there you go. What kind of world do we live in where Tyra Banks gets an off-screen kill? Hashtag hated it.
Ugh,
Hour and
come
17-minute mark. So we find
You had
out.
one job.
I was so mad. I was like, you had one job to do. I needed to see those smizing eyes dying.
I think that was done for economy purposes and not because they just hung her up.
Maybe they cut it out because it was so bad.
Yes.
Jessica, is that a timing issue? Is that a schedule issue?
I've heard that it was a performance.
Oh, it's performance issue. All right.
Yeah, that's the rumor going around is that they shot it. It wasn't good. They couldn't use it.
Ouch.
That makes
But keep in mind,
see it more.
Yeah, and I guarantee you, keep in mind, everybody involved in the film was like, "Oh yeah, we want to see her die." You know what I mean? So for them to not use that, sometimes like there's so many factors that go into why they don't show a death scene. But if it's like one of your high-profile people that people love to hate, which at the time, I mean, Tyra's now come around. By the time she was still like a supermodel, we all want to see supermodels die after we force feed them.
I feel like her annoyance rating went way up after this.
So I thought that I had fallen asleep and missed it. I was like, wait a minute.
I did too. I rewound it twice to make sure I hadn't missed it.
The action moves into the garage, and now we have a big fight in the garage scene. And just before the glass shatter gets killed for the umpteenth time, Mr. Busta Rhymes busts in and says, "Trick or treat, motherfucker." And I said, this may be one of the greatest cinematic lines in the history of film. That was
phenomenal.
That's what we waited for. That was
great.
really what we waited. I wish it was in another movie, but we'll take it in this one. The next line is, "Hey, Mikey, happy fucking Halloween." There's the second best line in the history of film.
I said, he was the only one I really cared about, and he lived.
Thanks. So basically, he saves her life, and they blow up Michael Myers, or they electrocute him and set him on fire. If you've seen one Michael Myers death scene, you've seen them all. This is no different than the other 1,500 Halloween films. Thank you, Deckard. You saved my life. By Palm Pilot, no less. We should mention, the Deckard was guiding her through the house with a Palm Pilot for the back half of this movie. But then again, it would be literally impossible in 2002 to do. So, in case you're wondering, she would have been dead long before she got the message on her Palm Pilot. It's not how it works. That's not how that works.
But also, she's seeing it appear letter by letter.
I know, it doesn't work.
Shit also.
And they didn't have, LTE or anything like that.
I know. No, they don't have anything. I'm done dancing for these cameras. Well, clearly not, since you haven't stopped running your mouth for the entire film. Again, Busta Rhymes, he A, survives, and B, never shuts up. The guy just doesn't stop talking from the first time he's on screen to now. It's Michael Myers. Cue the last shot of film where Cue the last shot of film where Myers opens his eyes, reminding us of more crappy Halloween films yet to come. We got 2 from Rob Zombie, and now we're going to have one, hopefully, final bullet point on the whole damn series with Jamie Lee Curtis coming up next year in 2018. Crest on credits? Anything?
Nothing.
Oh, god damn it.
Not even not just fucking nothing. It was
damn,
stupid.
that's
I was really hoping the characters that talked online met each other, and it was really uncomfortable.
Oh my god.
Why didn't they show that scene?
No, that was probably cut. I bet you that was cut. Either cut for time or just cut because it didn't play well.
I'm gonna need the full director's cut of this.
Yeah, we'll work on that for you, or Jess will get on that for you.
I kind of got the feeling that that whole little side story might have been enhanced in post a little bit, where they're like, shit, we need to make time.
All right, folks, there you go. That's our first Scary Turds for the month. It's called Halloween Resurrection. We took it out and played with it a lot longer. Can we flush it, ladies? Can we please flush it?
Flush it down with Redhead's top she was never able to find.
Bum, hey-o. Consider it flush. That is it for this week. I want to thank my lovely co-cinematic flushers, Killer Clown Colleen Griffin, Naughty Necrophiliac Nora Kress, and Sinister Shart Sarah Polton. Great job as always, ladies. Thank our very special guest, director, actress, producer, Jessica Cameron. Jessica, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for on. It was super fun.
Thank you so much
She's
for joining
so
us.
excited.
I know, she sounds so
excited.
She's
talk about one of the least favorite movies ever.
Well, we thank you so much for joining us in your insight. And folks, if you don't know Jessica Cameron, just jump on her IMDb. There's a link to her YouTube show, Scream Queen Stream. I can never get that right. You can also check out.
I dare you.
Right. Yeah. No shit. And Truth or Dare is out. You can go watch that one if you got the stomach for that one. Mania is not out yet. Am I correct on that?
Correct.
Okay, so there you go, folks. You got plenty of independent horror fare to check out from Miss Jessica Cameron. And thank you, folks. We're going to be back next week with our next Scary Turd. Until then, say goodbye, ladies.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Hi, this is Sarah Polton, and I want to thank you for listening to This Week and Every Week as we flush these turds down our cinematic bowl here in the restroom. And by turds, I mean the movies, not my ex-boyfriends. If you haven't already, please subscribe to us on iTunes and Google Play Music so we can attract more listeners and so you don't miss a single episode. We love feedback, so email us at signalsoffury@gmail.com with your comments and suggestions for future flushes. Also, be sure to check out our home restroom on the net, signalsoffury.com. Until next time, remember, we're here to flush it, so you don't have to see it. I'm Sarah Polton, and this has been the award-winning Soiled Restroom Cinema.